TV Crazy Man here with some crazy goofs and fun facts from the Wild Wild West TV series of the 1960s. Also, find out how the Wild Wild West may have affected Batman and Star Trek. In the very first episode of the series, James West is on the train loading up before heading out into town. Looks like he changed shirts while riding his horse. Might have been easier to change shirts on the train. In the episode, The Night of the Deadly Bed, we see that Jim West is made out of steel. When West lifts a solid steel beam and it hits his leg, it seems like it would have hurt. Unless it wasn't really made of steel. Now I'm not saying for sure because it's possible he just ignored the pain and went on with the scene. If it was real, I bet he had a pretty good sized bruise the next day. Now acting back then was pretty painful. As we know, Robert Conrad did do at least most of his own stunts, resulting in a hospital stay once. Now I say he did most of his own stunts, but sometimes that wasn't always apparent, as in this scene from the episode The Night of the Sudden Death that was filmed in the Gilligan's Island Lagoon area. If that's Conrad to your right, as it's supposed to be, looks like he's wearing different clothing, or maybe his clothing is all wet. And right before he gets to the point where he gets ejected into the water, his clothes look different again. So what do you think? Did Robert Conrad do his own stunt in this one?
I dare you to knock this off.
I wonder if Robert Conrad did this stunt from the episode The Night of the Burning Diamond.
According to my calculations,
I kinda doubt it. No offense to Ross Martin, but I bet most of us know without hardly even looking that this was not Martin doing his own stunt here. Of course, he never claimed to do all of his own stunts that I know of. Sure does look like an awful fun stunt to do though, doesn't it?
figures don't lie.
You know, they say you just can't keep a good man down, but in the episode The Night of the Glowing Corpse, they really meant it. Philip Hine plays Lieutenant Renard, who is seen at the beginning of the episode talking to Artemis. Then later on he's found by West, deceased in a coffin. But then at the end of the episode, West walks by him and Artemis talking again in the exact same scene they showed us at the beginning of the episode.
How'd you like that?
Now here's a strange scene. In the episode The Night That Terror Stalked the Town, West is in a deserted saloon controlled by the evil Loveless, who's constructed mannequins to fill up the room. But one of the mannequins is actually an actress.
Things aren't always what they seem to be.
I guess they just couldn't get their hands on enough mannequins. She gives herself away when West breaks open a bottle. This next episode, despite containing what I consider to be a few goofs, is a fun episode to watch.
It's not possible.
The episode The Night of the Human Trigger guest stars one of my favorite actors, Burgess Meredith, as basically a Western supervillain who uses his genius-level calculations and well-placed explosions to start earthquakes. This episode aired just a little over a month before his debut as another supervillain, the Penguin, on the 1966 Batman series.
Why do you have to die?
My sentiments exactly.
Just like he would do the Batman and Robin in the very near future, Meredith puts Jim West and Artemis in a deadly trap where, tied up, they will ride down a track to certain doom. Luckily, they devise a plan to escape. By rocking the cart back and forth, they are able to make it fall over before they go into a rock crusher. Of course, knowing that their legs weren't tied up, I had a crazy thought myself. Maybe they could have just, stood up and stepped out of the trap. Of course, that would have been a lot less dramatic.
This little pendulum touches either contact.
Later, West is put into another trap set to explode if he even dares to take a deep breath.
Holy sonic booms.
But luckily, it doesn't go off when Burgess Meredith appears to trip over the line. And you could even hear the pendulum smack one of the metal contacts, which was supposed to set off the earthquake and then the explosion. Intentional or not, either way, it adds humor to an already funny episode, which, being a very humorous episode to start with, they could afford to leave this scene in one way or the other. Now for this scene, I've never been in an earthquake, but somehow I doubt you could just calmly stand around when one has started, without at least losing your balance just a little bit. Now you can correct me if I'm wrong on this one in the comments.
Hope springs eternal.
In the episode, The Night of the Torture Chamber, we see just how strong Jim West is when he leaves a dent in a brick wall with a guard's head. In the episode, The Night of the Druid's Blood, comedian Don Rickles guest stars as a bad guy, villainous looking mustache and all. Too bad he can't keep the mustache on. Even funnier is how they gave him a close-up just as he starts to lose his mustache. I know it's possible it was a joke, but I don't think it was intentional.
Well, that's pretty corny, pal. Yeah.
Rickles faces off against Conrad in a fight scene. I wonder how long it took before he yelled, "Cut! Where's my stuntman?"
You are insolent, aren't you?
Well, it probably didn't take long.
Come on. I dare you.
The episode The Night of the Burning Diamond I think was probably ahead of its time. It features a supervillain who, after drinking a formula of melted diamonds, acquires super speed where he's so fast he becomes invisible to the naked eye. Very good episode, only a couple of goofs here and there to be found if you're looking for them. So in order to show the speedster's powers, all the actors in the area have to freeze where they're at, which you can imagine is kind of hard to do. Now this guy landed on sort of an awkward position to hold for long, and you can see him wobbling.
Then we're invulnerable. There's no danger to us. It's that odd sound, almost like clicking.
So at super speed, when people talk, it sounds just like a Star Trek communicator to a speedster. And remember, this was a couple of months before Star Trek premiered.
Bridge, this is the captain.
The next goof is part of the ending, so if you don't want to know what the ending is, well, now's your chance to close your eyes. I guess your ears too. So Jim West punches out our mad scientist, Morgan Midas. He hits a table, gets alcohol all over himself, and the heat from the super speed friction causes him to burst into flames. Now I get that he's going super fast, so you're not supposed to be able to see him, but if I can see the flames, I figure at this point he's not moving anymore, so I should be able to see him as well. Do y'all agree with that or not? Let me know in the comments. If you want even more exciting goofs from the Wild Wild West, check out my previous video that I'll link to at the end. This is the TV Crazy Man channel, the place to remember classic TV. Also, if you like animation, you may like my latest original cartoon on my Freddy Cat Cartoons channel. Just so happens it has a lot of nods to classic TV. Please let me know what you thought about the video in the comments. Hit the like, share the video with family and friends, subscribe if you haven't, and hit the bell so you can be notified of future videos. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.